Now, for the second time embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza is facing the Senate again to defend herself against the impeachment that has been tabled by the MCS of Meru County. This and more on the program tonight. Engage us on our socials at Lookuptv, that is on X, at Lookuptv on Facebook and on YouTube. And we'll be sure to engage us, to rather read some of your comments as we continue with the program tonight. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Josephine Ouko. This are the top stories. On the bottom line tonight, embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza pleads not guilty to 7 charges leveled against her as the impeachment trial begins at the Senate. Also tonight, dignity and respect to be accorded to customers and their belongings, says KRA General Commissioner Humphrey Watanga as he visits JKIA alongside Tourism CS Alfred Mutua.
Umenulia your dad koti, umenulia your mom viatu, umenulia some personal items from overseas. It's very clear. Nobody will ask you to pay taxes for your goods.
And more than 200 families at the Tana River and Garissa border left homeless after Tana River burst its banks. Now, embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has pleaded not guilty to all the 7 charges that have been leveled against her by the county MCS. Now, Kawira is facing a crucial impeachment hearing in the Senate as a 2-day trial started today. The Senate is expected to make a ruling on either to oust or save her for the second time. All right, we apologize for that technical hitch. It's something that we are working on. That story will be coming your way in just a short while. Now, as Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza faces a make-or-break moment at her impeachment trial at the Senate, a section of Meru residents are hopeful that justice will be served and she will be vindicated. Let's take a look.
Siku ya leo niweze kusikiza pande zote mbili, atisti haki iweze kutendeka na gavana wetu apewe haki. Juu tumeona hapa ni viongozi wako na self interest zao hapa Meru.
Ningeomba Senate yetu leo, wakati mnaanza kusikiza evidence ile ambayo imeletwa na County Assembly na defense ambayo imeletwa na County Executive, muweke demokrasia ikiwa kipao mbele, kwa sababu mswada vile ninavyouona ni kwamba unahujumu demokrasia, kwa sababu wale political elite na the elite hapa Meru ndio wameungana pamoja wakafanya conspiracy na members of the county assembly ndio waweze kutoa gavana ambaye alichaguliwa kwa wingi wa kura na wananchi. Kwa hivyo ningetaka Senate muangalie yale mambo yameletwa hapo mbele kwenu na muweze kuchukua hatua ya kumrudisha gavana wa Meru katika kazi yake, aendelee kufanyia wananchi kazi. Matarajio yangu ni kwamba Gavana Kawira Mwangaza atapata ushindi katika Seneti na kutoka hapo akuje endelee kufanya kazi.
All right, now Tourism Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua has said that the ministry alongside Kenya Revenue Authority has put new guidelines aimed at giving dignity and respect to customers and their goods. This follows a public outrage from Kenyans last week over tax harassment by KRA officers at JKIA.
So these are real guns?
Following an outrage over a directive by KRA to tax personal or household items worth $500, approximately 75,000 Kenyan shillings and above, whether new or used by tourists visiting the country, Tourism Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua and KRA Commissioner Humphrey Mulongo, while speaking today at JKIA, has given new KRA passenger terminal guidelines in which they say will ease in the burden of taxation.
If you're coming in and you have your personal items, would be allowed to get in. But if you have items that are restricted, items that are prohibited, or items that attract duty, then you'll be processed accordingly.
If that bag is scanned and there is nothing worrying about it, you have one laptop, you have 1 or 2 phones, umenulia rafiki yako simu, they are not packaged for sale, then it's okay, you go through. But if you're coming, you're carrying 5, 10 phones, you're carrying items that are very clear that need to be taxed, then you'll be told to show the items, and then you do not, then you'll be asked to pay taxes for them.
Responding to the raised concerns of passengers' harassments by KRA officials who have been taking advantage of harassing tourists and giving the country bad publicity, the CS has now promised that his ministry from now henceforth, all passengers arriving at JKIA will be accorded good service delivery, that which he says will be done as fast as possible.
That you are going to collect taxes, but as well as you collect taxes, nobody is going to feel that they are being harassed at our airport. Our tourists can come, and we are very clear. Nobody will open the bag of a tourist because they are coming as a tourist. It's very clear. Even as a next, you can ask them, what are you coming to do? And we see you've got a laptop. Some are coming to work from home as they look at the big five. So nobody will be harassed. We want it to be seamless as you come home.
KRA Customs Department at JKIA will continue seizing consignments of restricted items being brought into the country. And according to Mtu, other restricted items will still not be allowed in the country for security purposes. But under the new guidelines, the passengers will now be required to register the items online before traveling into the country.
That in our country we've got a Kenya Revenue Authority, we've got a Kenya Airports Authority that are able to detect guns before they get into our country, that are able to detect explosives before they get into our country, that are able to detect drugs before they enter into our country. And to tell people that you're not going to get away by bringing prohibited and restricted goods to our country, that our people are awake and our security system is secure. It's double checked when the bags are coming in, and also when the bag before you exit, to ensure that nothing falls through or comes through that should not come through.
Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
So is this double checking?
Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary, that is Kawira Kindiki, today met with high-ranking security officers from the coastal region in Lamu County in a bid to counter the issue of insecurity in the region. And as Ian Kitani now files, Kindiki noted that the government has put measures in place to counter acts of terrorism not only in the coastal region but across the country.
With the government hell-bent to ensure it neutralizes the threat of terrorism, as well as counter matters insecurity in the vast coastal region, Interior CS Kawira Kindiki today made his way to Lamu County to hold discussions with high-ranking officials in the security docket in a bid to counter terrorism. With the coast region heavily hit with acts of terrorism, the CS now says the government has issued notices to those suspected of aiding and abetting terrorism in the country, indicating that the government is on high alert and is determined to win the war against terrorism.
Just this morning, we have already given notice to 19 persons and entities whom we believe are aiding and abetting terror, and we believe those persons and entities are engaged in terrorism. And we have applied Section 3 of the Prevention of Terrorism Act of 2012. We are using preventive measures to fight terror, and therefore over and above the list we circulated 1 month ago of the most wanted terror suspects that have been fueling terrorism in this Bonny Enclave.
While admitting the gaps experienced in fighting terrorism, Kindiki hinted at the government deploying more security officers, reiterating that the government is focused on increasing administrative units in the area.
We have, however, identified a few gaps which we need to fill, including more deployment in this area, and we are going to enhance security deployments around Juhudi and Salama areas, which are not very far from here. We are going to increase the number of administrative units so that we can have more locations, sub-locations, divisions, to bring services closer to the people and to help security agencies to be able to make sure that wananchi have somewhere to report crime closer to home, and they get services closer to where they live.
With land disputes among the issues bringing about feuds in the region, the CS highlighted the importance of solving such disputes amicably among the residents.
We are going to have some methods of resolving our own disputes when they occur, perhaps sometimes between herders and farmers, and between business interests and whatever other interests. Like any other society, We expect disputes to arise in society, but we do not want violent resolution of disputes.
Noting the importance of engaging all stakeholders in the fight against terrorism, Kindiki assured elders that they will be fully involved in the fight against terrorism, as the fight will only be won through collective efforts.
The role of elders is very critical in terms of creating trust across communities and also trust between the communities and government agencies. Going forward.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Now back to our top story. Embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has pleaded not guilty to all the 7 charges that have been leveled against her by the county MCS. Now Kawira is facing a crucial impeachment hearing in the Senate as her 2-day trial started today. Now the Senate is expected to make a ruling on either to oust or save her for the second time.
Over 59 ward representatives voted to support the motion tabled by Majority Leader Evans Mawira of South Imenti constituency, representing Mitungu ward on a Jubilee Party ticket for the ouster of Kawira Mwangaza on alleged 7 counts, including misuse of office, power and public funds, going against the law, unlawful employment, honoring roads in her husband's name, as well as nepotism sympathizer manifested through the appointment of her sister, brother, husband and brother-in-law to various county offices.
A, the embezzlement of county funds through the governor's sisters, that is Rose Kinya Gwantai and Miriam Gwantai, brother, that is Kenneth Gwantai Murangiri, brother-in-law, that is Nefat Kinywa, and the nephew to the governor's husband, that is Edwin Mutuma Murangiri, all of whom are from now on collectively referred to as the governor's relatives. That 1, an inchoate audit process was underway, and 2, the matters raised by the assembly were sub judice, the latter frivolous ground being also disingenuous and contrived when viewed against the fact that the governor has already been convicted of contempt of court. The Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, how do you plead to the 7 charges? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Appearing as the second witness for the county, the Mitungu ward representative testified that the governor has so far spent over 78.1 million shillings on irregular payments made to close allies of the governor, with demonstrated conflict of interest on expenditures by mixing up issues such as the gubernatorial official functions and her personal Okolea initiative, which according to the MCAs are mad with misuse of county resources and violence at times.
Instead of accounting for 78 million, she has only accounted for 2.3 million. And if you look at the 2.3 million, the documents that have been used, that is the work ticket as well as the voucher, 99% of them are not signed by the examiner, are not signed by the director of accounts, and therefore they have been prepared hurriedly for purposes of your consumption.
It can be attributed to the utterances of the governor. Why? Because she castigated the deputy governor and the people there. It's around the deputy governor's home, therefore the crowd turned violent after the deputy governor was attacked by the governor.
The county representatives have singled out the ensued indifference between the governor and deputy, alleging in their submissions on seclusion of county deputy governor from county executive council meetings.
It's not normal, and to hand this was after the deputy governor and come out and saying that he was mistreated, and therefore the governor had taken the rally near his home so that he can castigate him more. Therefore the crowd, that's why they turned violent and protested against the mistreatment of the deputy governor.
As stated in their submissions before the Senate, the MCAs are blaming Kawira of sending unqualified individuals on critical medical cancer treatment tour in China, as well as appointment of unqualified individuals to certain top institutions managed by the Meru County.
Politicians attack each other all the time. Perhaps we can't read much into that. But do you consider it normal, even within the rules of politics, for a governor to take a vilification rally right to the home adjacent to the home of our deputy.
Upon completion of their submissions, the Speaker will give Kawira an opportunity to salvage herself through her 9 lawyers who have lined up 4 witnesses, including the governor herself, before the Senate votes as a whole house on whether or not to impeach the beleaguered Meru County Torch, Kawira Mwangaza.
The standard for removal of a governor in office, taking into account the adjectives used by the drafters of our Constitution, as defined or as interpreted by our Supreme Court, suggests that the process must be rigorous.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv.
All right, time to take a short break here on the program. We'll be back in a few with more stories.
Introducing the Kenya Trade Fair Fusion Sales Drive event in the heart of Nairobi at the Kenya National Archives. It's not just an event, it's sales generation with a remarkable return on investment. Get ready to let your booth do the talking as you study new market trends with lots of entertainment featuring traditional live bands, DJs and artists. For vendor registration, call 0724 715 334 or 0713 907 584 or 0723 861 173.
Infinity Industrial Park is one of the largest private industrial parks located along Eastern Bypass, Nairobi, which provides modern infrastructure for smooth operations for industries and business enterprises. Infinity Industrial Park offers world-class amenities and facilities with wide roads, a police station, a power substation, fire station, public transport stage, hospital, and shopping mall. In addition, Infinity Industrial Park also offers CCTV cameras, 24-hour private armed security patrol, sewer, water, fiber optic cable, and 3-phase power connection, added to public utility, canteen, and dining areas. Sail on the golden opportunity to invest in Infinity Industrial Park, fully serviced warehouses at a special price of 3,569 Kenyan shillings per square foot. For more inquiries, visit our website infinityindustrialpark.com.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Now let's continue. Now, Turkana East MP Niko representative Cecilia Ngitit were questioned and released today morning at the Nakuru DCI offices over the increasing insecurity in the Rift Valley region. Now, the leaders have agreed to work with the forces to come up with a lasting solution to the insecurity in the region.
Insecurity in the north has been a subject of debate for a long time, with Interior CS Kithure Kindiki warning that the government will investigate to get to the bottom of it. As one of the strategies being undertaken by the government, leaders from the north, including Gikolong, together with Turkana County Women Representative Cecilia Ngitit, were on Tuesday morning questioned by the DCI Nakuru, promising to cooperate with the authorities to solve the banditry issue.
I had my colleague, who is a friend of mine, Honorable Kamuket, who was there the other day last week, talking about the issue of Kapedo, which is my concerns. He talked about the court making the ruling on Kapedo issue to be in Baringo. I don't know which court in this republic will go against the constitution of this country to say this is the boundary.
Gikolong welcomed Pokot residents to live in Kapedo and anywhere else in Turkana County, while calling on to the residents of Turkana to continue being peaceful as before.
There are some leaders who are claiming that some land, like now Kapedo, some people they are saying they have been here for 100 years. Let's not bring this country into chaos by giving such a statement.
Turkana County Women Representative Cecilia Ngitit say that the disputes that are occurring in some areas of Turkana East and South are not cattle theft issues but land disputes.
You know, the situation in the North Rift is volatile now. Even as we speak, war is going on in Turkana East and Turkana South in some parts. It is no longer cattle rustling as usual. It is now including land.
She also called on to Internal Security Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki to end this issue forever because the lack of security has made the North Rift unstable while forcing students who are doing their national exams to do them outside their homes for fear of banditry attacks.
And there is no community that is superior than the other. All of us are Kenyans. All of us are Kenyans. And the Constitution is the superior law of this land. We want to plead with our government. We want to plead with CS Kindiki. Please, CS Kindiki, do it, give it the last shot, give it the best shot. We are tired of losing people.
Ebi Kadenyi, Lookuptv.
All right, away from that, now Kenya and Czech Republic have agreed to enhance their bilateral relations and exploit existing investment opportunities in the two nations. Now speaking at State House Nairobi, when he held bilateral talks with Czech Republic Prime Minister Peter Fiala, President RUTO argued that an equal partnership was paramount for mutual benefits.
In his address to the nation from State House in Nairobi, accompanied by his guests, Czech Republic Prime Minister Peter Fiala, President William Ruto has assured investors from the visiting country that Kenya is a powerhouse of business venture for both local and international investors.
We have also explored with the Prime Minister possibilities of making it easy for citizens to travel. And I have undertaken to him to look at the possibility of visa waiver for Czech citizens to visit Kenya without any restrictions. Focus number one is export of the biggest asset we have, that is our human capital, in terms of digital jobs and in terms of export of labor.
Accelerate trade. The head of state says that soon Czech Republic will establish a commercial business hub in efforts to boost economic growth as well as create job opportunities for its citizens.
That the Czech Republic consider establishing a commercial hub in Nairobi and use Kenya's geostrategic advantage as a gateway for the broader regional and continental engagement in terms of trade and investment, so that we can enhance our trade and we can also enhance our tourism sector.
On security-related operations, the president boasts of Kenya's commitment, both regional and international, as the nation has more than once been important piece in the whole puzzle of peacekeeping missions in highly volatile nations across the globe.
In our two countries, and we are committed to expand our engagement in that space.
Ruto says bilateral talks with the visiting nation will continue in order to find long-lasting and beneficial solutions on matters health, agriculture, education, among others.
Prime Minister Fiala and I also resolved to continuously work together across a range of sectors, including health, agriculture, technology, and aviation, among others.
Aludagail for Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, more than 200 families in Meru at the border of Tana River and Garissa counties have been left homeless after Tana River busted its banks following heavy rains witnessed in the country. Now, more than 50 households, schools and churches have also been affected. Residents are now calling on the government to come to their aid as they are stirring a disease outbreak due to poor hygiene conditions.
As the weatherman warns of more rains across the country in the coming days, the residents of Meru area in the border of Garissa and Tana River County are on the receiving ends of these predictions after the Tana River busted its banks, rendering 200 residents homeless.
pia ambalo sasa hivi lote limezingirwa na maji na haliwezi kufikika. Lakini pia kuna dispensary ya Mororo ambayo sasa hivi huwezi kuweza kupata huduma yoyote kwa sababu imekuwa marundi na imezibwa na maji, imezingirwa na maji kiasi cha kuwa huwezi kupata services zozote hapo. Kwa hizi ni changamoto ambazo mvua imeleta katika sehemu hii, na kitu ambacho tunaweza kufanya kuanzia leo ni kuweza kuandikisha wale watu ambao wameathirika, na watu wako katika level tofauti. Kuna wale ambao tayari nyumba zao zimeingia maji ambao ni takriban nyumba 50, lakini kuna nyumba zaidi ya 150 ambao tumewaomba watoke sehemu hizi.
Social amenities already submerged. Their lives are now left at the mercy of the raging floods.
Maji yamejaa mpaka ndani ya nyumba. Hata sasa tumefanya kutoa vitu nje, vitu ziko nje. Kila mwaka, kila maji kijaa, tunakuwa na matatizo ya kila siku.
Since in this area, evidence of the destructive nature of the floods, residents forced to construct makeshifts to keep safe during the night.
Wakati maji ilikuja, mimi ni single mother, nilikuwa Garissa kwenda kutafutia watoto, kuja nimepata maji mengi kwa nyumba. Hatari ni kuwa tu tunaogopa hii maji inaweza kuwa na mamba watuingilie kwa nyumba. Hata usiku tuliogopa kulala kwa nyumba, tulala kwa hii mlima. Hata tumekesha, hata tujalala.
Tana River Basin is the second most flood affected area after Budalangi, where now the residents are urged by the Kenya Red Cross Team Coastal Strip manager Hassan Musa to vacate to higher grounds.
Takriban nyumba 50, lakini kuna nyumba zaidi ya 150 ambao tumewaomba watoke sehemu hizi waende sehemu za juu. Ikiwa wataweza kutoka sehemu hizi kwenda sehemu za juu, ina maana kwamba ni lazima wapate huduma za shelter ama matonobari ya kuweza kufanya waweze kuishi katika maisha mazuri. Kumbuka pia kwamba hawa watu wana watoto na wengine ni kina mama wajawazito. Kwa hiyo haya yote lazima tuyaangazie kwa makini zaidi wakati wanapokwenda katika sehemu ambazo tunasema waende sehemu za juu.
The residents are now compelled to construct their feeble temporary houses and homesteads at Baraka playgrounds. Regan Lemeguran, Lookuptv.
Now, away from that, police at Sabasaba police station in Muranga were forced to release 4 people from custody after hundreds of angry Maragua residents took to the streets demanding the transfer of the OCS on allegations of harassment, arbitrarily arrests and taking bribes.
Call it taking the law into their own hands. Irate Muranga residents in Muranga County demanded the release of 4 suspects they saw were falsely accused by an officer said to be turning the station to be a bribe center. The officer has been accused of asking 10,000 Kenya shillings and 2,000 Kenya shillings bribe for one to secure their freedom. Addressing the residents who had camped outside the police station for over 6 hours, Area Member of Parliament Meru Wamaua said that she had received complaints from the residents urging relevant authorities to move with speed and take action.
Huyu naye alikuja asubuhi. Kuna mzee alikuwa ameshikwa na motorbike. Akaambiwa motorbike yake haina license. Lakini askari wanaitisha giri 5,000. Akampigia akamwambia amuletee hiyo 5,000 kwa sababu alikuwa wameongea atamuuzia motorbike, ndio akitoka maneno ya venye atamuuzia na ni pesa atalipa aje atasema baadaye.
Noted that boda operators and bar owners were the most affected, as bar owners will pay 5,000 Kenya shillings every month and boda circles to pay 2,000 Kenya shillings every month.
IG Kome, hao watu wako wamekuwa treasury, wamekuwa law court, wamekuwa judge, wamekuwa magistrate, wamekuwa prosecutor au wamekuwa nani?
Accusing the officers of arresting innocent young people, the residents have decried living in slavery under new OCS and police officers.
Na kwa huko tumempigia simu tukasikia eko ya hapa kwa huko na amekataa kukuja. Nimwambia kuja amekataa. Ananiitisha balance. Asubuhi alikuwa analidiza lakini saa hii hataki. Nimemwambia kuja alidizi hapa kwa mheshimiwa. Mwambie kuja.
Catherine Saina, Lookuptv.
Now, residents of Kaharo village in Kirinyaga have been left in shock after the body of a police officer was found dumped in a coffee plantation 10 meters away from his homestead. Now, with residents claiming the deceased had complained of being stalked by unknown people.
A somber mood has engulfed residents of Kiharo village, Ndia sub-county in Kirinyaga County, after a body of a police officer found dumped in a coffee plantation some meters from his home. The deceased's brother Daniel Karaba now says that he had informed him of some unknown people being after him.
Stuka. Asa mimi nimestuka sana juu sasa mwenye ameuliwa. Tulikuwa na yeye jana, tulikuwa tumeonana mahali. jana jioni.
According to the Kirinyaga West Sub-County Police Commander Moses Kosgei, the deceased 42-year-old Timothy Mwangi had several serious injuries on his head. Kosgei has assured relatives that investigations are ongoing to bring the killers to book as the body has been taken to the Kerogoya Referral Hospital awaiting for postmortem.
Nastuka kwa shauri ya kuona askari ambaye alikuwa mtu mzuri ameuawa na akatupo kwenye kahawa.
Winlight Chapruha, Lookuptv.
All right, now let's get sporty tonight. Kenya women under-20 football team starlets are in their last-minute preparations at Kasarani Annex, ready to take on Cameroon on Saturday. Now, the Building Odemba-led team hammered Angola 10-1 in aggregate in the second round of the qualifiers and are optimistic of securing victory against Cameroon in their quest to represent Kenya in the 2024 World Cup in Colombia for the first time.
Tunafeel poa juu tulienda Angola tukijua watatukazia lakini tuliipiga. Tena vile tunaenda Cameroon tushaambiwa tunajua ni wakubwa lakini sisi tumejiamini. Ka timu iko na morali, iko na psych, tunaenda kudeliver. Na tunaambia Kenya citizens wakwe ready, tunawapeleka World Cup.
Tutawin cause game ya kwanza wakicheza Angola pia wale win. Hatutajali hata kama wao ni wakubwa, tunaweza na tunaenda kuwachapa.
Now, UEFA Champions League group stage continues tonight with 5 matches playing. Now, Newcastle United will face German side Borussia Dortmund. Spanish giants Barcelona will face Switzerland counterparts Shakhtar Donetsk. Man City will take on AC Milan. All right, I believe about 34 minutes past the hour. Thank you so much for your time and being part of the program tonight. My name is Brian Amuayons. On our sign language interpreter tonight has been Josephine Ouko. On behalf of everyone that made it a success tonight, I do want to thank you so much for watching and wish you a good night tonight. All right, good night.